when we talk about like dead bedrooms and stuff like that in our culture, like, so then where is the line drawn? Like, again, I go back to, so then do you just say, you know what, girl, I love you, but I love me too, and I cannot do this. Like, I can't be in a space where we're not even trying to figure it out. And so I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and you be happy with you, and I'm gonna be happy with myself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then
That's
you
why
just
I
lost
say,
15 years of your life. Then I'm really
Yeah.
mad at you now. Now I want to fight you.
Yeah.
Because 15 years of my life was gone when I could have been out here dipping and dabbling 5 years ago.
that's why
No
I
I
said,
agree.
shade.
boy, guess what?
Boy, guess what?
Boy, guess what?
Boy,
Boy,
guess
guess
what?
what?
Moves? Do you want to be chopped up in slices? How do you want?
Bro, just get rid of me with that goddamn musical.
Uh,
Hi,
Hey guys.
Davon.
Hi.
Um, so I wanted to call y'all because, boys, guess what?
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 So this past weekend, I was out with people and we were just having good conversations. I love good conversations in social spaces, when it's meant to be. And the subject, which always comes up in our community, the subject of open relationships came up. And
Oh boy.
so, obviously, like there were a lot of opinions about how that works for people. Some people were against it, some people were about it, some people were on the fence. And so, yeah, I thought that let me see what these boys think about open relationships and what that means for them. So, if anyone of y'all want to jump in first, so go ahead.
Okay. So I love where we're at when it comes to like our sexuality. We are so much more evolved as people, especially in our community. Like we don't have to follow the norms, the straight norms. Um, and I see where we're at now, where people are realizing, no, I don't have to be with just one person. I could be with multiple, and I can find somebody who feels the same way that I do. Like we could be together, but we could uh, go out of the relationship and have sex with other people, or we can invite people in, and that's our relationship. And it's not traditional. It's not what most people would call normal, but it is what's happening. And I'm glad that people have that option, because it's not for everybody. I don't
Right.
think personally for me that I could do it, but I have been around a lot of people who have had success with it. And I'm just glad that people have that option to express themselves and be fulfilled in ways that they couldn't be before. Um, have people offered with me? I've said no because right now where I'm at, I don't want to open things up. I like monogamy, but I don't judge people that don't. So that's
Do you
it's
think that would
beautiful.
change over time, or do you think that would just be for everything for you?
I'll never say never.
Okay.
I'll never say never. I mean, I'm here in my 40s and I know what I like and what I want, but who's to say that I don't find the love of my life and 10, 15 years down the road we decide to open it up or maybe 5 years down the road we decide to open it up. I can't say, but I know as of right now how I feel. But I'm also glad that we don't hold ourselves to the standards of what society wants us to have.
I
So
think that's
shout
important
out.
too, right?
Yeah, shout
Um,
out to the poly people out there.
you brought up some great points because I think that in those conversations, from what I remember, a lot of couples stated that like they were together for X amount of years, they've been together for X amount of years, and then they decide to open it up later.
hmm
I even heard some people say like they like in the very beginning that was just like their thing, like we're open from the beginning.
hmm
Um, I find myself like you. I don't judge anyone that does it per se. I think that it's great that we don't have to conform to heteronormative standards. Um, I myself am a free spirit, but in my current relationship, it's just us. I have been in situations where I've been in an open relationship and have played with other couples and all of those things. When I was younger, it was very much like, no, my man, my man, my man, my man, and me,
Yes.
right? As I've gotten older, I see the different capacities of being open and being with your partner, and a lot of it just boils down to communication. And I completely understand why it's not for everyone. I mean, I think that you have to be very secure within your relationship, very secure within yourselves, and it just might not be the thing for you, right? And there's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that whatsoever. So I applaud those that still have um that mindset and that heart to want to have a partner and only just that partner. But also,
Mhm.
again, on the other spectrum of it all, like I understand how people can have the capacity to, you know, love their main partner and have intimacy with other partners. Because what I will say in that regard is that I don't think that you are not going to have chemistry with other people or not be attracted to other people. And I don't think that your partner is going to check off every box, just like I wouldn't check off every box of my partner?
Mhm.
And so some people see that and they have the communication, they go for that. I'm on the fence about how I feel about it.
Mhm.
I I don't know. I still think about it, and I'm open to the idea some days, and I'm close to the idea other days. So I don't know how I feel. So I'm like very much in between, but the conversations do like pique my interest, and I love hearing about the people's journeys and how they navigate all of those things.
Mhm.
So Sister Marcus.
I mean, where I stand on it is clear, hence why you called me Sister Marcus. I caught that little piece of shade right
No, it
there.
really wasn't. It was just like, because we in the church, we in the pulpit. So, I said to bring it to my sister, Sister Marcus.
Anyway, it's not for me. I understand that it works for other people. I I just cause where I'm at in my life, I can't see myself. I never saw it for myself. Um, can that change? I don't know. But
Mhm.
where I stand as of right now, and where I've stood for most of my life, yeah, I've always seen myself just me and one person. So I don't feel that it's heteronormative because if you really look, because you guys had mentioned it being heteronormative prior, and the reason I said is because if you actually look at it, there are a lot of straight relationships that are a one man, two women, sister wives, multiples, and of course we all know, niggas gonna do what they gonna do. So
I don't think I was saying it's heteronormative. I was just talking like just overall like the standards that are in the straight world, like we
Hmm.
don't have to abide by those. We can just do whatever the fuck we want. Like I already don't want men to be with men and women to be with women
Yeah.
or trans people to exist. So fuck it. Like we just gonna do our own shit over here. So you got people that have brothels and open relationships, and so like
But
we're not holding ourselves to that.
would you say that's more of a right thing, like a conservative thing, as opposed to a people thing? Because I know actually more straight people who have been in polyamorous and or open situations than I do gay.
So I think, because I use the term heteronormative, so maybe that's where, um, and when I say heteronormative, I mean the way, like Davon said, society has basically created this as a norm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always feel like that I consider societal constraint. And again, what you do with how you do it is where you are, right? And when I say societal constraint, like we've been programmed. Um, to not think anyway differently, basically. And I'm not saying that's a wrong way to think as well. You know what I'm saying? But all we have known and all we have been taught is that you are with one person, right? Like that is
Mhm.
it. And so the thought process of even thinking outside of that makes you feel guilty or makes you feel like you're wrong in your thought process or whatever the case is, at least for me personally. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that a
Yeah.
person that
Yeah.
doesn't think that way is wrong, right?
Right.
Um, and so when I like think about all of those things that we've been programmed, and it just even like, when we think about just the church and all of that stuff, right? Like we've been programmed to think that we're going to hell because we are part of the community. We've been programmed to think that like, when it comes to trans women, I could outright admit and say that when I was younger, I was transphobic and I had no idea because I didn't
Mhm.
understand what that was. Um, I'm like, well, why would like, oh, she's a he, she. I use those terms he, she, and tranny
Mhm.
back in the day, not understanding what it truly meant to be a trans person. And then when I got educated on it, the thought process changed because I was programmed to think this way versus another way, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, Marcus said, tie into what you were
Mhm.
saying. I
Mhm.
understand
Yeah,
where you're
and
coming from. So
I appreciate that perspective. I say everyone just needs to respect everyone's walk. If you choose to be with multiple people, so be it. As long as you're not hurting anybody in the process. Like I don't believe in adultery, so
Mhm.
I don't believe in people stepping out of their relationships and sneaking behind the other person's back or other people's
Right.
back. Whatever your, because I did have I'll say like I remember when I was first exposed to the idea of open relationships, and it was a friend of mine. She was in an open relationship with her boyfriend. And she called me one day and told me that they had broken up. And I asked her, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I'm thinking she's going to say he hit me, it just didn't work out. She said he cheated on me. And I kind of had to pause. I was like, but
Y'all are
how?
open. Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, I was younger, like this was maybe over a decade ago when this happened. And of course, open relationships weren't then what they are now. And of course, the information and all the things wasn't quite as a focal point as it is today. So when she said that, I was like, wait, what do you mean?
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
I don't get it. Y'all were in an open relationship. Y'all were having several multiple partners outside of, like, you just told me you went on a date with a guy the other week. So I don't
Mhm.
I don't know how did he.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, and even with her, like she's done a lot of crazy things, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? It ain't for me. Some of it I don't get, but I love you and I respect you as you are. So that would be my ultimate point with it, is that if you do want to be in an open relationship, if you do want to be polyamorous, if you want to be asexual, if you want to be whatever, if you decide you're gonna walk out your house wearing a purple tutu and I don't know, twirl around, sprinkling glitter on random people in the street,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, I have to respect that about you. And if I
Mhm.
choose to be monogamous, if I choose to be Sister Mary Clarence, then so be it. And I just ask that it be respected.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that's the problem.
Get
I think
that.
that
Get that.
that is where there's always this like disgust when people say I'm in an open relationship. It's like, well, why would you want to do that? Like, I never understood it, blah, blah, blah. I think that's where I get bothered, though I'm not in that situation. I get bothered for those people because it's all like, well, why are you attacking these people? Like, if that works for them
Mhm.
and they're happy with it, like, then allow them to be. I think that sometimes when people like say things like, "Oh, I've seen it happen. It's never going to work," or "How long are they going to last?" And I'm all like, "Was that your own projection? Because
Mhm.
you probably can't handle being in a situation like that, or what is that?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying the ones that judge it, not the ones that like, um, are like, I respect what you do, but it's not for me. It's the ones that like literally throw out there that like, oh, that ain't gonna work. I'm like, well, they've been going together, they've been
Mhm.
working for 20 plus years. So
Mhm. Yeah.
and you can't keep a man for more than 5 months. So girl, who's
Ah.
working and who's not? So maybe you should look inside of you and figure out what it is with you that's not working. But I mean, that's a whole different story from a different day. But what were you gonna say, Marcus? I saw you.
Uh, and I don't know if you were planning to ask this as like a question, but oh, and I lost my train of thought just that quickly. Oh my God.
We were talking
Um,
about the people that judge it and say certain things like, "Oh, I don't know if you want to be in a relationship. I don't understand why you want to do that. Like that's just stupid, and I can't believe that I could never do that. That's just, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, girl."
Jeez, come back to me because I don't want us to waste time.
I
Not the little Kim.
I remember the first my back in 2011, my coworker and I, when I started that job, he had told me he had a boyfriend and they were open. That was the first time I'd ever heard of that. I didn't know what an open relationship was. I was like, what does that mean? He was like, we basically have sex with other people outside a relationship, and immediately started judging. Immediately. I'm like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is the point of getting a relationship if you just gonna still have sex? So I'm like judging the fuck out of this guy. And he continues to explain we're open, but we have rules. So, Marcus, you and I are together, and we can't we are allowed to have sex with other people, but we can't leave each other to do it. So let's say like you're working and I'm off, I have the freedom to do what I want, but as soon as you get home, I can't be out in the streets. Like, but if we are
Ah,
both off that day and we're chilling, we're not cruising and looking for people to hook up with, we're with each other. So I looked at it, I was like, I was still judging at the time, but I was like, okay, that actually kind of makes sense. Like, because niggas should be cheating. And if you just allow them to go out and have sex without knowing, where's the problem in it?
well, I
So
mean, it's
that
still
that opened
dangerous.
that took away that judgment. Like
Mm.
I was able to be like, oh, okay. And some people have rules, some people don't. Some people are like, I don't care. You can go and look when I'm with you. Again, that's their business. But it introduced me to that world to where I took that away. And for people that judge people who are in open relationships, they should take the time to actually talk and get to know some of these couples, or do your
Oh, yeah.
research.
Yeah.
It may not be for you, but
Yeah. Like,
we respect it. We need a little bit more of that in our community. We don't
yeah.
have we don't have enough.
I have a really good friend of mine who is in an open, well, they recently just got married. And the conversation came up as we were hanging out recently where, they kind of explained to us the rules in their relationship, how like they can go out and do their own thing. Because they actually this friend admitted that they don't actually have their marriage, they don't have a sexual relationship. Like they've been together for a few years and they've never had sex, but they've been with other people. The rule for them is don't shit where you eat, so don't bring it home. And don't bring me anything home.
Yeah. Okay.
And like it made sense to me what they were saying. I will say, and this I just remember what my point that I raised my hand for was.
Okay.
I feel personally, there are a lot of people who are signing up for open relationships because they want to be with that person and that person wants to be able to do their own thing. I'm going to preference this is not everybody. Y'all know where I'm going. But they don't
Lead
really
us.
understand what it is to be in an open relationship. So they'll
Mm,
go along with, and this goes for men and women, because I've seen it where a girl will literally, a dude wants to have a threesome, or he wants to open up the bedroom, but he wants to bring another woman in. She goes lesbian for the night, but she's only doing it to please him. And I feel like we also have that problem, or however you want to word it, what problem, situation, whatever, in the gay community as well, where it's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to share this man, but because I want to keep him and make him happy, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna bring
mhm.
in XYZ, have some fun, blah, 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 blah. Or there's some situations where you're in an open situation with somebody that you don't even like, and the only way you can really get your jollies is to open the door for other people to come in, and you be like, well, I don't really like you, but we already in this thing. So let me go ahead and bring this other person in. I'm actually going to enjoy my time with them. You can sit and watch, or you can participate, but we don't really care if you're here. Stuff like that. So I feel like if you're going to get yourself involved in it, you have to really know and understand what you're doing, and not just doing it because you think it's a fun idea or you want to please this other person when it's actually not who you really are.
Hmm.
And see.
Hmm.
Bronson, you look like you had something to say.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the whole thing about opening things up because you really don't want to like deal with that person. Because I've been in two instances where I was in a relationship and we played with other couples, other people, like that was our thing. And then I was in a relationship where we were open and I couldn't stand the man, but it was all like, well, if we're gonna be doing this, we're gonna do it together, and we're gonna have fun. And obviously, like I had fun in the time that we did. But you brought up a very good point about doing for the other. That can get complicated as well. But then, okay, what do you do? I guess that's where like that line, you draw the line, right? Do you break up with someone because 5 years down the line, they realize and discover that they want a little bit more to be in an open relationship or they want to explore more and all those things? Do you let that go because that's not something that you're into? Or do you try? Because I think too, as people, we grow, right? So our ideologies are not the same at 20 and 30 and, where some of us are at 40, right? So we've changed and progressed, right? And our mindsets are different. So who I was 5, 6 years ago is not who I am in this relationship, at 7 years. And so there may be a point where like, yeah, let's like explore whatever. So then do you just say, I'm going to throw away 7 years because you're not willing to try anything or do anything? Or are you willing to compromise? And what is that compromise?
That's a good question. And I think that that's one that can only be answered when you're in that place. I've never had a 7 or 8 year relationship to really be able to say, hey, we're here. What do we do? You want this and I want that. Um, I don't think you should throw it away right off the bat. So I think that that is a conversation. Like if that was to come up, like let's say there's a couple that is in a relationship that's been together for 5, 10 years, that conversation comes up. I think that it's at least worth a discussion at the very least. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean that it needs to be acted upon because with partners we should be comfortable enough to say, you know what, I am feeling this thing. Heck,
Agreed.
there are monogamous couples all over the place who decide to say, you know what, we've been together for 15 years. I just one for this one night I want to have a threesome, and the other person agrees to it, and they both say we're gonna do this and we're gonna leave it where it is. So there's situations like that that happen. But on the other hand, you might have that one person who, and I might fall more in this category where it's like, no, that ain't happening. It's just me and you. I don't want it. Da, 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 da. I'm not about it. If that's what you want, you go get it, but you ain't gonna get it with me.
Right. So that's my question
Yeah.
for you, right? So you're that person that says no,
Yeah.
and you're like, it's just not for me. And I'm all like, well, Marcus, we've been together for 10 years. And like, so it may not be for you. So what's the compromise? Are you going to throw away 10 years of what we built? Or are you just going to say no? And then I'm supposed to sacrifice who I am and how I feel to make you
Mhm.
feel comfortable when you're not even willing to compromise.
But see, what you just said there, sacrificing who you are to make me comfortable. But then on the reverse, I would be sacrificing who I am to make you comfortable.
Right. So what's the
So,
compromise? What's
yeah.
the
So,
compromise?
like, that's why I say, at the very least, it is worth a conversation.
Excuse me.
That's you.
Thank you.
Salud,
Yes.
salud. I think that because for me, I would trust you more as my partner to say this is something that you've wanted to try or something that you have thought about versus you bottling it up and feel like you can't come to me because then we have a trust issue.
Okay, so now I came to you, and a year and a half later, I'm all like, "Hey, girl." Now, what are we talking about now?
um, I said, what's up?
And depending on where I am at that point, I'm just gonna say exactly where I am as of right now, because unfortunately, again, I haven't been in a relationship for that long. I haven't had somebody approach me with that
Fair enough.
question.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I haven't had the time or a year to think about it. Because I know you'll stand on the neck.
Oh, I'm coming back to you a year and a half later, being like,
Yeah,
okay, we had
yeah,
the conversation
yeah.
a year and a half later. Okay. So just so you know, that's so we can circle back to a year and a half later. Or, like I gave you this time. But I feel
Right,
like
like
too,
remember that
like,
question I asked you a year ago?
because don't think I forgot, but do you guys feel like this is where like dead bedrooms start? Like, because there's a thread on Reddit. Like Reddit is crazy. First of all, I don't know if y'all I know y'all know about Reddit, but if you
I'll be
spend
on
some
it.
time,
I'll be on
there
it.
is a thread called Dead Bedrooms. And I just be like reading some of these and I'd be like, oh my God, these people. I'd be feeling so bad for them. Because they'd be like men on there being like, because they call themselves like high libido male and like low libido female, or whatever. And they'd be like, oh my God, I haven't touched my wife in 15 years. Every time I touch her, she just turns away. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to go out there and cheat on her, but like, what do I do? I said, 15 years,
Yeah.
15 years, and y'all haven't come up with like any type of solution to figure this out, whether it be opening up a relationship or whatever it is between the two of you, or just being like, don't ask, don't tell. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that is like such a horror movie to me in itself. It is because like okay like let's break it down, right? We're talking about two men, right? And hormones in men are completely different than hormones in women, right? And we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about us as a culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm not gonna even lie, like I'm a man of taste and I'm a man of needs and everything else. And so I know that I'm up here when it comes to libido and like where my mind goes with certain things that I even myself, there's a bit of shame in my thought process of being like, well, girl, dang, is that a little bit too left for you? But I'm all like, I shouldn't feel ashamed about the things that I desire and how I feel. And for a while that I did, and I had to like, tell myself there's nothing wrong if you have certain things that you like in the bedroom sexually, right? So when we talk about like dead bedrooms and stuff like that in our culture, like, so then where is the line drawn? Like again, I go back to so then do you just say, you know what, girl, I love you, but I love me too, and I cannot do this. Like I can't be in a space where we're not even trying to figure it out. And so I'm gonna
Yeah,
go ahead and you be happy with you, and I'm gonna be happy with myself.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
then
that's
Mm-hmm.
you
why
just
I
lost
say,
15 years of your life. Then I'm really
Yeah.
mad at you now, and I want to fight you.
Yeah.
Because 15 years of my life is gone when I could have been out here dipping and dabbling 5 years ago.
that's
No
why I say,
shade.
regardless of how the outcome is, it's worth the conversation. If a
Correct.
I
relationship is
agree.
gonna end, it's gonna end regardless of whatever we do.
This is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think that as long as you're open and honest with that person and y'all have the conversation, if it's something that's on, let's use that example from Noah's Ark,
Hmm.
the one about Eddie's thug obsession.
Hmm.
Okay, before you get into that,
Eh.
don't revoke my black gay card, but I've never watched Noah's Ark.
We gonna get on that in just a second.
Yeah, we're gonna
No,
put a pin
we
on
can get on that
that.
another day. We
Yeah,
can get on that another day,
We're
but
gonna put
because
a
we
pin
I've
on
never
that.
watched
because we
episodes.
will have a Noah's Ark episode.
Yeah, we'll
But
have a watch party for that because you have to see.
yes, now
Like it is.
Bronson and I can quote that show
Don't
backwards and
judge
forward.
me, please.
We're not judging you. Listen, it's okay because there's a lot of people that actually need to see it and
Yes,
understand. Like it's such, and not to get too much into it, but it was such a time to see us represented on the
Ugh,
show and understand
yes,
who we are. Because like whatever, we'll get into that again about representation.
yeah,
That's another
Okay, but
topic.
yeah.
yes,
We'll do that for next episode.
Okay,
go
But
go and
so
talk about the thug obsession.
so
Yes.
I'll so
yes.
I'll I'll describe this for the audience that has never seen the show. So there's a character who's a little bit quirky and nerdy. He's a professor, and he's just moved in with his new husband, and he feels a little bit smothered by the situation. So the husband actually has a hankering for, they actually say this in the show, a hankering for the homo thugs. Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
they're both very like proper like black men who they would go to like a gala type function. But apparently he likes younger thug type boys, that dress with the baggy pants, Hank sagging and all the things. And so shortly after they move in and get married, he ends up cheating on him with someone who fits that description.
Mm-hmm.
And they break up, but during that breakup time, the main character, his name is the Chance. He takes thug lessons to learn how to be more street in
Okay.
hopes of reconciling with his husband who has the thing for homo thugs.
Uh-huh.
And of course,
Okay.
homo thugs is a dated term. I'm so sorry.
I mean, but it's
But
a dated show, so yes, I get it.
touche.
Yeah.
But so he
Sister.
compromised, uh-huh, and basically just became what he felt the man needed to keep him, even after they got back together, they still had a whole bunch of different issues. But the thing was is that he said to him, and this was actually one of the deleted scenes, but after they like had sex, after they reconciled, you could have gotten that from me had you just asked instead of going behind my back.
Communication.
Mm.
Yeah,
Communication, baby.
yeah,
Talk about it.
yeah. So
Talk
that's why I
about it.
say,
Baby, talk about what you want to do in the bedroom, okay?
But
Because
see, we say this, right? But think about what we just said before, right?
uh-huh.
For things that we don't understand, we judge. Let's just keep it
Yes.
a buck, right?
yeah,
So
Yes,
if
of
I came
course.
to you and I said to you, like, hey, honey, I have a thing about you breaking into the house, you punching me in my throat, tie me up, and then just doing this to me. You saw your face, Marcus? Right. And Davon, I know you have questions, right? So imagine your boyfriend comes to you saying that. And so then I'm the one that's saying that. And then I see y'all faces. Then I feel ashamed for even saying that to you. So then I don't want to say anything else because now I feel ashamed about how I like the certain kinks that I'm into. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's into everything, but like, so then what do you do in that case? Like, Marcus, I know you're not going to beat me up like that and throw me on the bed like that. You know what I'm saying?
no. I mean,
I want you to slap me in my face on the bed.
I mean,
Like I
I've
want to
done that
bust a lip.
before. I've
No, I want to
slapped
bust a
some.
lip.
Is it
Maybe not that far. I've choked someone, not slapped someone before, but I don't know if I would go as far as like to make you
But
bleed.
I want to, but as I'm telling you, I want to bust a lip. I want you to
Um,
tie me up, and then I want you to like literally like aggressively, and then just walk out the house. So now
like,
what?
well, I'm not gonna bust your lip now. Like, I'll tie you up, but I
yeah,
don't want to
because
bust your lip
God
because
I
forbid,
want to be hog
that
tied though. Like I want to
no,
be
like
like
no,
this.
because God
Brr,
forbid.
please don't. Like
I
you know what I'm
mean,
saying?
I'm low key into the bondage thing. I will admit that. Bondage blindfolding. I low key kind of can get with it, but anything that causes me to make you bleed or bruise, because God forbid, let's say we have a fight the next day, and you could be like, "Oh, this nigga beat me up," and I'm like, "No, you asked me to do this."
That's toxic, first of all. So like that's toxic, first of all. But all right.
Uh,
So to close this out, we all agree that respect is key.
yes.
Conversation
yes,
should be had.
Conversation is
yes,
key,
And,
absolutely.
if you're open, great. If it's not for you, wonderful. And there's nothing wrong with that.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
It just really boils down to have the conversation with your partner and also be open to what your partner brings to you. You know what I'm saying? Don't automatically just judge it from the front because it's not something that you're into. Like, take a step back and be like, okay, well, let's talk about more about it. So you like to walk around and wank like a pig. Okay, so where does this come from? Like, is it because you like farm animals? Like, okay, all right,
yes,
perfect. Thank you for letting me know this. So on Tuesdays, you want to oink like a pig? All right, well, on Thursdays, I want you to tie me up and bust my
Oink,
lip.
oink, oink,
Yeah, you know what I'm
oink.
saying? So
You remember that from
I
Norbit?
agree. Or woo, whatever it is you like.
Have
So
and not be afraid to have these conversations in the early months of dating. I
yeah,
honestly would say that I have no problem, like, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, like, hey, like I know we haven't talked about it, but I like being choked. How do you feel about that? Because if you already feel like that, like don't kind of spring it on me like 15 years later, and I'm like choked. I'm not choking you. Like at least I know in the beginning, like you like being choked. Like okay, I might not be into it, but if that's what gets you off, like I could choke you a little bit.
But then okay,
Like
so 8 months in, I'm in love with you, boo. Like I already see that I'm gonna spend my life with you, and then I'm like, I want to be choked, and you gonna be like, well, I can't. We can't be together now because you want to be choked.
I
then we
mean,
just can't be together and not waste the 8 months. But I'd rather waste 8 months than 15 years,
True,
and I can find
friend.
somebody else who would choke the shit out of me.
I'm with you when
very
you're right,
true.
friend. I'm with you
Find
when
Very
you're
your
true.
match.
right. I'm
Find your
with you when you're
match.
right, friend.
Sex equals happiness. It
Yes.
does.
But
Yes. And
ideologies
also,
Have you?
change too. Ideologies change. Like what you
It
may not be
does.
into,
But
you know what I'm
like
saying?
Marcus said, have your conversations about it. And if you've been with somebody for that long, you should be able to have that conversation with that person and come to some
Yes.
type of, understanding. And,
yeah.
if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then, figure it out.
Yeah.
100%. And definitely any conversations about sex I feel should be having in the first 3 months. My personal opinion. Because think about it. When you first meet somebody, regardless of how you want to play it, well, the first thing you're waiting for is when you guys first have that moment.
Hmm.
Well, some of them
So
happen on the first night and they still together. So
That's
then what?
yeah.
okay.
So
That's
Like
so
Lil
at
Kim
some point,
said, why fuck them on the first date? They ain't got time to wait.
yes.
and that happens. So if that's the case, I mean, you're gonna talk about what positions y'all want to do, like who's gonna be the top, who's gonna be the bottom, or who's flipping. So if y'all can have, and then of course there's gonna be the news exchange. Obviously, you want to kind of ease it in, but no pun
Hmm.
intended. But
Hmm.
if that's the case, then at some point you should be able to say, hey, I kind of like this. Would you be interested in this? That way, because the way you're worried about wasting that person's time, you're wasting your time as well. If that's something you like to do. So
I
communication.
agree.
The moral of the story is
Ooh, yeah,
communication.
communication. We all agree. And no judgment.
Communicate.
No
There we
judgment.
go.
Yes,
Y'all are
yes.
so funny. I love these conversations and y'all make it just so like it's just fun. Like you said, like when you talk with your friends, it's just a whole different ball game of like conversations and stuff like that. But
Yes. Let's
until the
just hope
next
that let's
time,
let's hope that people that watch this aren't too distracted by Yo Moose Knuckle, because you got it all out there.
cause it's covered. Cause it's
It's
covered.
all out there.
Cause it's
I've been
covered.
looking at it. I'm like,
Her
okay.
Glowzilla, her
Cause,
Glowzilla,
cause
Glorilla.
it's covered. I can't
Some
stand
people might
y'all.
have to watch it twice. What were they saying?
Views.
I didn't hear anything.
Showing off my booty. No.
Numbers.
I just saw crotch.
Numbers. But yeah, I got to get dressed to go to this movie with my good girlfriend. So,
All
but
right, loves.
to the next time, y'all.
All right.
Yes.
I
All
love
right,
y'all.
guys. Bye.
Peace.
Next episode of
Boy,
And
guess
the
So,
thing
what
is,
were we
what?
gonna say,
Drunk and
Marcus?
high.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
about Megan the Stallion. She had this song come out a couple years ago. It was before the Mamushi, but it was still in that snake theme. And her lyric, she was talking about depression and how she wanted to kill herself and how she felt like
But that was
every
his the first
yeah.
song.
But what was the chorus? This pussy
The
depressed.
the funny thing is, like, I didn't even like know what the lyrics were. And I like Megan Thee Stallion, but she
Yeah,
raps so
I
Yes.
love
rapidly, and
Megan.
I'm like, I can't hear everything, so I just be
Yeah,
like, all right, I believe you, girl. I
and the
believe
thing is with
I believe you're
Megan,
good.